welcome to the Lockdown episode 3, and we move away from surfing in this episode, and we go all the way across to the US of A to chat to one of BMX's big superstars, Mr. Kevin Peraza.
Yo, how's everyone? How's it going, Kai? Been a while now, a year, and luckily, sadly, I would say now we don't get to hang out this year, but hopefully soon.
Yeah, may as well get straight into that. Obviously, you come across every year for Ultimate X, which has been at Sun City the last few years, and it literally was like a few days before the event. The whole
prior, yeah.
And Corona kind of forced everything off, and obviously a lot of you guys couldn't risk traveling because you wouldn't have got back into the States.
Yeah. I had flights booked, everything, and like I said, ready to go. South Africa is always an incredible place to visit. Nevertheless, we have Ultimate X, in Sun City Resort, which is an incredible location, incredible event, the vibe, the energy, just the whole accommodation, everyone that puts the event on, you announcing the event, and just the whole atmosphere of the event is incredible. So I was super bummed, obviously we're all going through the same thing right now, but this close to jumping on my flight, literally 2 days prior, we had to cancel flights because we had connections in Europe to fly to South Africa, and that was when there was obviously the Europe travel ban to the US. So obviously, health comes first, and the event, I hope the event will be around for many more years to come so we can continue going. And I think as of right now, go with the flow.
Yeah, well, obviously it's been hard lockdown here in South Africa since basically the week after Ultimate X would have happened. We're only allowed to go out for supplies and to go to medical attention. Basically, that's it. It's been 4 weeks almost. We're looking at next Thursday possibly being a kind of relaxation of our lockdown here. Obviously, you guys have also been pretty strict, but I was speaking to Brendan Gibbons, and he was saying, he can still go surf, he can still get his exercise in, even though he's in lockdown.
Oh, crazy.
How's it been for you?
I've been on lockdown now for, I would say, the last month. I would say since Ultimate X, I was inside for maybe 4 weeks, I believe. We're in April now. I would say we're going on our 2 months now of being on a lockdown, and in Southern California, I'm in San Diego now. I moved from Arizona to San Diego, literally beginning of February, and then obviously everything started closing down. You're not allowed to surf. All the skate parks got completely closed down. Same as South Africa. You could only go out for groceries, medical attention. Obviously hospitals, postal, whatever it may be. Banks are only open, like obviously banks have the bulletproof windows, so those are still open, stuff like that. But I'm outside in my public park that's technically closed, and so I literally can't cross over these caution tapes. So get a little bit of sun whenever I can and try to walk out and not get in trouble. But it's one of those things where yeah, you technically can't be outside without a mask. It's one of those things where, I'm not the only one that's dealing with it, I don't have a backyard skate park. I've been riding my parking garage because I have no other choice. And some dudes obviously are luckier than others. Pat Casey, for example, good friend of mine, he has a backyard setup. He just stays home anyway. So obviously social media has been keeping us all connected and stuff, but still, obviously doing online chats with you and meeting up with people online is our only resource right now with staying in contact with our friends and family. I haven't been able to go home and visit my family. I'm only 5-6 hours away from Arizona. Haven't been able to go because they're on the same thing, same boat, same lockdown. So it is what it is, and I think God's telling us something. It's if we can look into what's happening, I think he's just telling us to slow down, appreciate the little things. Obviously yesterday was Earth Day. How much has the world cleared up, clear skies, clear waters. I think we're the problem in the world. I think we need to realize what we've been doing wrong, and I think taking the little things for granted, like having a roof over your head, AC, clean water, whatever it may be, you know, I think those are the things we completely forget to appreciate day by day. So this is a good time to catch up with family and friends, you know, good friends like you that I get to obviously chat online with on Twitter and stay updated with everything that's happening around the world, you know, especially in South Africa. But it's crazy, man. It really is. Some different times. I don't think my grandparents, your grandparents, have ever lived through anything like this. So
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting too, because obviously, you know, we work in what is effectively an events based industry. I mean, we're in action sports, extreme sports. Um, you compete at events, I MC at events and
yeah,
direct events.
yeah,
And essentially, you know, here in South Africa, we'll find out later tonight if our President Cyril Ramaphosa starts sort of introducing some industries back into work mode. But effectively, our industry, the events industry, I mean, that is going to be the last one to come back.
exactly,
We're
exactly.
staying on the fence
Because
the longest.
yeah, I mean, sadly, we bring in an audience. You know, we're giving people a show, and the last thing they want is social gathering. And I mean, our events obviously are on the bottom of the list of things that are going to get let back in. You know, in Southern California, skate parks are getting full of sand. I saw some skate parks in Australia are also getting full of sand. We mentioned this the other day. You know, it's out of all the problems and things are happening right now with more than 20 million unemployed people in the U.S. and however it may be throughout the world. I think cleaning up a skate park is the last thing on their priority, you know, and so that's also a bummer as well, you know. So lots of things come into play where we do have to be going to events and obviously showcasing our craft, you know, your craft. You bring in a crowd, I bring in a crowd, and obviously right now we can't get to work, but it's good that we get to chat like this, you know, and talk to people who usually run into us at events, you know, and really explain that we're all in this together. I think social media is a good platform right now to stay relevant, to stay ahead, you know. I think you have a voice, I have a voice, keeping people positive, keeping people awake and going. I think everything will fall into its place. I think I mean it's for the better, you know, and I think obviously health comes first. A lot of my sponsors thankfully aren't pushing me to go to events. Actually, a lot of events are actually getting canceled, which is the saddest part, you know, because it's so strange for me not to be traveling weekend to weekend to a different city and hanging out with friends from around the world. Like all my friends, besides my family and the local friends that I ride with, my best friends all ride BMX and they're all from different cities in the world. So I haven't seen any of them. So it's one of those things that it's definitely strange for me not to do. So obviously I'm super hyper, super active, and I miss riding ramps. I miss riding with my friends. I miss hanging out with dudes like you. And obviously the adventure will go on. Um, the industry will keep going. I think with social media videos and with chats like these, we're gonna keep it strong. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's good. It's good. It can go different ways, but we just have to stay positive, stay active, keep it
Yeah,
going.
well, I mean, speaking to Marcus from Ultimate X, for example, I think first reaction for him was obviously devastation, but there's been talk of it possibly being postponed, and if events are allowed back later in the year, possibly happening. And then, like you said, you know, otherwise next year, I think we'll definitely be back on here in South Africa. I mean, it's not just us though; it's huge events. You're looking at
Oh,
like
yeah.
X Games, you know, all of the big
They have
Crankworks events
Olympics, for
around
example.
Olympics. And it would have been
Yeah,
a
it's
huge year
crazy.
for you guys because, of course, BMX would have been for the very first time at the Olympics.
Yeah. I mean, those are one of those things that like thankfully we ride BMX and we love what we do. And obviously I'm not saying anything against other sports, but there's certain people that only train for the Olympics for 4 years, let's say 4 to 8 years. Obviously the country it's an 8-year investment for the country that's hosting the game. So I think of that bigger picture and I'm like, wow, it's not just my BMX events that are hurting. It's big corporate, big TV, big everything, you know, and obviously sports in general are hurting, you know, and some athletes have been training just for that moment, as in we have BMX events every 2 weekends, you know, and it's like we're pretty lucky that we do get to just ride and do our own thing, as in certain athletes only train for the Olympic Games, which is every 4 years, So thankfully we get to just do our own thing and ride other events. But Vans Pro Cup events that are some of the biggest events of the year, the FIS events that are also obviously Olympic qualifying events. Those are events that I'm looking forward to riding this year. They're so big in BMX, win or lose, I love going to the events. And it's one of those things like Ultimate X is on my list of events every year, and I think Marcus and the team out there always do a good job. I would say incredible job of hosting the event and bringing people from all over the world, like as a big family of action sports, bringing skateboarding and BMX together, that people will go back regardless, whether it's next year or in 2 years, and hopefully all this gets going, and gets moving again. But as of right now, I think a lot of us are still looking forward to going to all those events, regardless when they may be, and just give us a little bit of open preparation, I would say, from here to when they ever start going. But like, X Games is not yet canceled or postponed. Like, they have no idea if it's gonna be one of those events, but yeah, I mean, the list goes on of things that can be going on, from video projects to autograph signings to,
Well, I think
contest to whatever. Yeah.
like looking at options for events moving forward. You talk about X Games. I mean, I've been to X Games back when I was in LA, and the live broadcast is a bit deceiving because obviously you have the big grandstand sort of behind what's happening, but that's pretty much it. We're not talking monster numbers of live people watching the event, and that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
So moving forward, what we might see is events like X Games saying, right, the event's happening behind closed doors so they can minimize numbers and contact, but it is going to be webcast and you can watch it live.
Which is, yeah, exactly. I was actually thinking about that recently, where they might even host certain events just for the athletes and no public, and obviously if they host an event in South Africa, it's a minimal number of foreign athletes that are going to go to South Africa. Obviously it's not cheap to fly to the other side of the world to go watch an event. So most people will watch either a video recap or a live cast or live webcast. So I could only imagine if that's the future of action sports. I mean, I've never been to an Olympics before, so it's like I've always ever seen it on TV. So most likely, if they do end up hosting contests or events that big, they'll probably just do it for the athletes, and even then probably be super, super minimal. So who knows? I don't think it's something to really worry about. It's not, I mean, it's out of our hands, honestly, but yeah, I don't know.
Looking forward at when you get to start competing, like you said, you're in a complex. I've been watching your posts. You're riding in literally your underground garage just to try to keep like the bike running. We spoke about Pat Casey. I mean, he's got the dream set up at his house. I think he would have been world's most popular BMXer to go on lockdown with. But how are you, besides just sort of riding in the underground, are you doing like a training regime? I mean, I know I've picked up doing way more sort of physical training than I normally do, because normally I'm surfing so much that I stay fit.
Yeah.
Right now I can't.
I would literally wake up and do basic stretches. That's pretty much it. I don't really, I mean, the gym in my apartment complex is closed. And obviously all the gyms in the city are closed. You can only go to a few gyms that are private. And I've been trying to go. They recently opened one up here in San Diego. That's a private gym just for priority athletes and stuff, which is pretty dope. I think that's keeping me going right now. It recently just opened, so it's fairly new to me to get back going again. But I was, obviously a month and a half of not really doing much exercise, and I had no other choice, and either riding the parking garage to play with the basics, or pedaling up the parking garage to do intervals and sprints, and obviously a road bike and a trainer to sit there and just burn some steam and obviously think. And obviously the parking garage is my only real option right now to training. I'll be running up it's 8 levels, I run up and down for maybe half an hour and come back, do some stretches, chill, and then cook something and do it all over again, but with my bike. So I'm not a big gym person, so not really stressing it, but obviously I ride BMX every day, and so right now with skate parks being closed, it's like, what do I do? I'm not going to go ride the parking garage again. So it's like, I don't know. It's definitely weird, definitely strange for me to figure out what to do. I'm learning how to cook. I do a lot of painting and drawing, so that's been keeping me busy and obviously peace of mind. My wife and I recently I got married. I'll be having my wedding hopefully the end of this year. But I got married, so my wife and I been just cooking. She does a
Congratulations.
lot of like, thank you. So she does a lot of like at home workouts and stuff, but I'm pretty lazy. I just do stretches and stuff. But just cooking, man, and shooting photos and trying to create content and stay relevant. And I
Well,
mean, yeah,
we must swap some cooking tips, dude, because I've got some good ones there on the Captain Kai's World. You can go check it out on my IGTV.
yeah, for
Some
sure. That'd be
nice
so awesome.
stuff there for you. And then, I mean, Brew, obviously with your background, like I would dig to see what you guys are cooking. So if you're going to start putting some cooking stuff up, I want to see it. Okay.
I know I would start making some videos of Mexican cuisine. I'm
Well,
actually
my favorite,
pescatarian.
my
I
favorite.
only I'm not vegan, but I don't eat dairy or any animal products. Only fish. Fish is the only animal, obviously the meat product I eat. Everything else, it's all plant based, and so my diets are a little bit different. Obviously, with the Mexican culture, I do love the spicy food. Yet not as spicy as real Mexicans, but I just sit there, I just prepare, honestly. My wife does all the cooking and stuff. I just prepare and get it all sorted. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm learning. Uh yeah, man, I don't know. What else?
Well,
Been getting crafty. A lot of my What's up?
next time you're out here, we're going to put you to the test at the Mongoose Enclave, and we're going to make you cook. And
All right, I'll
we
try.
can even have a cook-off. We'll see. We'll get the whole Mongoose
All
team
right,
lined
bet.
up for a
I'll have to
cook-off.
bring. Yeah, that'd be so sick. I have to bring my own spices and my own sauces.
Epic. Now, I mean, we talk about what's going on in the world right now. A lot of people are obviously depressed. A lot of people are scared. This is a time when certainly I've been advocating after my work with November about like talking to people and facing your fears. Don't like keep it in. If you need to talk to someone, speak to someone. And it made me think actually of a story with you in that one of the first or second time you came in Cape Town, we went to go snorkeling with seals.
Oh my
And
god.
I mean, you are scared of the water. It's a real fear
I'm
for
afraid.
you.
I'm so afraid. Yeah,
And
but
but
it's one of those.
I mean, but you kind of got it together that day and you faced your fears and you got in the water like where there are great whites swimming around and you came and did it.
Oh my
You faced
god.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I think in everyday life we're afraid of many things. You know, stepping out of our comfort zone is one of the biggest challenges that we all face. You know, and to me, I grew up in Arizona. I don't have an ocean. You know, my mom is actually from a small beach town in Mexico. Um, but I didn't grow up there, you know, and going into the ocean is a completely different thing than to just swimming in a pool. You know, the current's stronger, you know, there's waves, there's millions of eyes looking at you, whether they want to bite or not, you know, and in South Africa, you have some of the biggest great white shark breeding grounds. So it's like, it's uncomfortable, man. It really is, you know, and obviously the water's freezing cold, you know, it's super different from what I grew up, you know. I have 110-degree dry weather, no water, no lakes, nothing, you know, and going to South Africa and the water's, I don't know, freezing cold,
Cape
wetsuit, you're
Town's
still
cold.
freezing.
Cape Town's cold.
It's cold, yeah, it really is. And obviously, you know, there's there's a bunch of things that could potentially eat you if they wanted to. But I think at the end of the day, it was one of those things where I looked over and I saw Table Mountain and clouds falling off of it, and I remember where I was with who I was, you know, and I was like, I'm gonna regret this for the rest of my life if I don't do this now. And I think a lot of people are afraid to take that step. And obviously, it's not a race. We're not competing against each other, but that was a huge step for me to go swimming in the ocean without a life jacket, without, you know, like I'm afraid. I really am. I'm not a powerful swimmer. I'll be honest. I want to learn how to swim in the ocean because it looks incredible, you know, and I've slowly been falling into that, you know, and but that was one of my biggest challenges. Why? Because I didn't think I was gonna make it out alive. And the worst part about it was our guide. He said, "Oh, by the way, if I do this, it means shark just swim to the kelp." Like it was a dog, like they're dogs. You know what I mean? Like I was like, dude, like you couldn't have said this like half an hour ago. But we saw those South African dolphins. On the way there, it was so majestic. I'd never seen a sea lion so close before. I'd never put on a wetsuit before. I'd never been out that far in the water. And so it was like, despite the fear, I gained so much that day that it's still one of my most memorable moments of South Africa. And that I think that was my first trip to South Africa. I think we did shark diving, I think, like a few days after that anyways. So it was like, this is cool. It was super different to me. And obviously you're in one of the greatest cities in the world, and like I said, you look at the city behind you, and the mountains, and just how everything is, and you really do fall in love. And so I think in an everyday life situation, if we don't step out of our comfort zone, then why are we living? I think to be better, you must take that step. And obviously simple things like jumping in the ocean for me were a big step, and I'm proud of myself. So little by little, I've slowly been jumping into the ocean more comfortably. Obviously I'm still afraid, but I think at the end of the day, if you don't do things that scare you, then what's the excitement about? So yeah, I
Well,
mean, I'm super thankful for that moment. You gave us an incredible tour that week, and obviously, some of the most unforgettable trips in my life. I've been to Cape Town or South Africa in general. So big thanks
we,
for that.
we always like having you here, man. And next time, once you're a bit more comfortable, we'll get you in the surf as well, and we'll start getting the surf journey going. But
Yeah, that would be so sick.
I've got some questions here from the South African BMX crew because a whole bunch of them heard I was going to be interviewing you. So Malcolm Mo Peters, who's of course your teammate on Vans and
Yeah,
Monster, he says, and I mean
much
this is
love,
a
Malcolm.
question. This is a question I wanted to ask as well: is does stretching out big Superman seat grabs require any special form of yoga?
Yes, I believe, if you're gonna be extending that far, you have to be able to do it on flat, which is doing a little bit of yoga. And I think I'm not a professional yogi. I don't do it, 5, 10 times a day, but enough to stay in shape, and enough to be able to pull the legs back. And I think that's one of those tricks where if you can potentially get your body in the way you want it to be on a yoga stretch, then the feel, the muscles, you understand the muscle formation of how you need to feel when you are in the air, and obviously the trick's been around for years, man. Like growing up in BMX, I was reading magazines and looking up to guys like Corey Anastasio, and he was doing the biggest Superman sea grabs, and I thought they were so dirty, and TJ Lavin, and the list goes on, and to me it was like, how big can you do the Superman sea grab? And maybe it's not a hard trick, maybe it's everyone can do it, but it's like, how can you do it? It's like, it's how you do it. And I think at the end of the day, it's like, I'm working hard to make that trick look better and better, even to the day, and so if I can bring that trick to a contest and do it the best in the day, regardless my placing, then I did something that I wanted to do, and I'm happy. So yes, it involves a little bit of stretching. Obviously, you want your body to bend in the craziest way, then you must work prior, and you must polish that diamond of your body. So yes, it does. I would say, getting off
Well,
of the topic so much.
I
One
definitely
big old answer.
I'll definitely vote for you being the biggest Superman seat grabs I've ever seen. So moving on,
Thank you.
Malcolm's second question, and I mean Malcolm's one of the OGs of BMX in South Africa, so I'll let him have two. He says, "Are the rumors true that you keep Russian dwarf hamsters in your front wheel for added nose wheelie balance?"
Not true. I just hold my breath. No, I'm kidding. I just play in the front yard all day long. On the street, I just play with cracks, or with what are they, cement lines, or tiles, whatever it may be. Is I just play with lines, and parking garage lines, like parking spots, and I just just give myself challenges. I just, yeah, all day long just doing nose wheelies. It's one of those things where you don't need ramps. You can just get creative on flat ground and obviously do them switch footed, underhanded, cross, whatever it might be. You get creative, and I think that's something incredible about BMX. You just do whatever you want. But nose wheelies, just, yeah, it's challenging. Obviously, I'm not the best. There's better dudes at me, but I love it. Yeah, just keep doing them, I think.
All right. So Tobias Groenewald, he reckons your dad also rides BMX. Was he a racer or freestyler? Do you ever ride with your old man?
Yeah, my dad started riding BMX when he was 10 years old. He grew up in Mexico, and so they didn't have any skate parks. They built dirt jumps. Those dirt jumps became a racetrack. So he grew up racing with his friends, but obviously BMX has this open culture of obviously rebellion and doing tricks and being different. And I looked through all my dad's old photo and old content, and he's doing big 1-foot flatties and big old X-ups and turn downs and no handers, you know. And so, and this was on a racetrack jump. So flatland was around and the same thing. So it was a little bit of everything for my dad. But my dad grew up racing, riding trails, and doing tricks, a little bit of everything, what BMX is, and just being rad. Yeah, my dad sadly works a full-time job. Doesn't ride as much as he used to. Obviously, he has priorities now and stuff. So when we do get to cruise, I really cherish those moments. It's really rad to me. For obviously, it's very special for you to share the same passion or the same passion that your dad had growing up. And obviously, his goal was to make it in BMX, you know, and for all of his sons to do it. You know, I have 3 brothers who also ride, so it's pretty special, I would say, for my dad to get to session and play with his kids like we do. So I do love it. I do get to session with my dad whenever the time is, and I mean, yeah, like I said, it's something that most people don't really get to do. So love those moments, get to cherish them, like I said, and it is incredible, man. I don't know. I can go on. I talk way too much.
Well, Darren Duck Oakley, the Dirk, Anata, he says, KP kills
Yeah, the crew.
social media. How do you get your inspiration for your content?
Being different. I think it's not just about, you know, posting BMX clips. I think most people get stuck on posting BMX clips, and obviously we ride BMX. I love it, but it's good to get creative, good to get different, and then I like shooting photos as well, so that has a lot to do with it. And obviously social media isn't a thing that you should stress about, you know, but I want it to look good, and I want to put out different content to be different, you know, and getting creative in a different aspect and learning how to edit photos and learning how to, you know, use different applications and just to post content, you know, to instead of just overloading the feed with random stuff that's blowing up with different tags and stuff. You want it to look clean, you want it to look professional as well. And I think if you can create content that isn't selling anything to you and it's just real regular daily life things, you know, and still get away with promoting stuff naturally, I think that's good content. So big shout out to Darren. Actually, he's one of my good friends, one of the dudes that actually made my first trips to South Africa incredible, as well as with the whole Skabanga crew out there. Yeah, man, like I said, just post different stuff, I think was fun for me. And obviously you want to post stuff with your chick, you know, and be proud of what you do daily and the things it's not about being an influencer and saying like, this is my car, this is where I live. Like, it's not bragging. It's like, I think it's about inspiring people to do different things, to do daily things, and you know, it's like obviously health, you know, diet, exercise, action sports, everyday life things. You know, I am a normal person. I just ride BMX, you know, on the side, and I still love posting my daily life. So yeah, just like I said, it's different content every day.
Well, we talk about the Skabanga crew, the head Skabanga, Colin Loudon. He says, first place you want to travel once you're able to go out again.
That's a hard one. You're making it hard for me. I mean, the last place I was supposed to travel prior the whole lockdown was South Africa. So South Africa would be the first one on the list. Honestly, I have my flights pending, so they're already paid for. So whenever whenever we're allowed to travel, I'll just make a vacation out of it. Hopefully get to run into all of you guys out there. Colin, much love to you and all the boys out there. I think, like I said, Darren, and the whole gang out there were some of the dudes that really made me feel at home, and the incredible part of BMX is like you make friends from different cities in the world and you just become this big family. We've stayed in contact and we've seen each other year after year, but we've been boys ever since. So much love and thank you to all the boys out there. Colin, cheers. Thanks for all the good times. And South Africa's on the list. Let's go.
Now, one thing that will always come up when we mention Kevin Peraza, from myself to Catfish to any of the guys on the mic, is always that big old smile while you're riding. And a couple of questions. Dylan van Belkom, do flies get stuck in your teeth from smiling while riding? Vincent Lagoni is, I aspire to be your level of happy and smile when I ride. Jacques Ferry, I don't think I've ever seen anyone as happy with such a huge smile as you have on a bike. It's just the bike riding or lifestyle or whatever. What makes you so happy?
I've had a few bugs fly in my mouth, I'll be honest. That's funny. But I think at the end of the day, you can't always be happy, and sometimes we all have our moments when we're not happy, but 99% of the time I do things that make me happy, and riding my bike is one of those things, and so when I jump on my bike, I forget about every single thing that's happening around me in the world, whether it's negative problems or whatever it may be, and I think BMX is one of those outlets that you get to share your personality and obviously your craft, and I've been riding BMX, I think 20 years now. I started when I was 5, so it's one of those things where it's almost like second nature to me to hop on my bike, and as simple as it is, jumping on my bike and feeling my tires rumble through the ground and hitting curb cuts, it gives me so much joy, and like I said, it's really something that I enjoy doing daily. And I think, if you don't love something that you do and you forget why you started in the first place, then why are you still doing it? And I think BMX, to me, contests, sponsors, trophies, medals or not, I'll still be doing it. Why? Because it brings me so much joy. And I mean, if you ride BMX, you would understand, and it's, like I said, going back to the topic of making friends worldwide, I've been able to make friends and a family throughout this sport, loving what I do, and we all started the same. And I think it's sick we get to share that passion. I hop on my bike and go to a skate park. I run into someone that's your age that just started or that's been riding for, his whole life, or I run into a 6-7-year-old kid that just started, and we all get to share the same passion and inspire each other, and I think it's one of those incredible outlets in life that I get to enjoy the most. I mean, I'm blessed. I really am. My life is incredible. I can't complain. God's given me, more than I could ever dream of, an incredible family, mom and dad, older brother David, younger brother Victor and Eddie, an incredible wife and her family, and everyone that supports me, incredible friends that I've made in BMX and out, in my city, and people that have believed in me, and the sponsors that support me, win or not, and people like you that I've had, relationships with going to events, like you motivate me at an event, and vice versa. It's a big cycle of life where we're this big ball of energy where you're announcing, 110% of your effort during my run, getting me excited to give this show to the crowd, and the crowd gets excited, and it's one big circle of energy. And Catfish is one of those people that I've always been there to like be the hype and be the voice of my riding as well. So music and everything that falls into this culture of action sports is so exciting, and like I said before, I'm so blessed that I get to do what I love, that it just honestly keeps me motivated, keeps me happy, keeps me sane, keeps me positive, and I'll tell this to you and to anyone, whoever has this question, and I think, remember the little things in life and the people around you and the people that support you. That's what's going to keep you going in life. Like I said, we all deal with our own problems, our own demons, and our own, crashes. Everyone crashes, but it's one of those things where that BMX has shown me in life. you fall 7 times, you get back up 8, and do it again, and learn from that. And I've learned that from BMX, that I've fallen so many times trying to film and to learn and to create and to do different things in BMX, that when I achieve it, I take that same mentality to an everyday life problem, and I get through it, and obviously stay sane and stay happy, ride your bike, stay healthy, go outside, enjoy the sun, get off your phone, and call the people around you that you love. I think that's something that really keeps you happy and going. I mean, I'll smile, man, until the day I die. I think many of us are blessed. We just have to see the positive out of the negative always. So keep going, keep pushing. If you're going through rough times, keep going. Why do you want to stay there? So don't go
That's
through
good
hell
advice, dude.
and stop there. Keep going. Yeah.
All right, so last question before we run out of time. Naughty Steez, one of the new school of BMXs here in South Africa.
Legend.
Naughty's been laying down some filthy video parts as well, but he says,
shout out to Naughty.
when you ride, what music are you into at the moment? Like, what is your Steez music for when you're out sessioning?
It depends, honestly. The mood can be the game changer throughout the day. Rap music is always there for the hype, and in rap music there's so many different genres in one genre. There's so many different styles, from New York style. You got Notorious Big. I can listen to Biggie all the time when I ride BMX, and then Meek Mill. I feel like fighting when I listen to Meek Mill, and that's when I'm gonna truck a 16 stair or something crazy, and then you got like Playboy Cardi, where it's just like lit, and you're not really paying attention. It's just background noise, or Lil Uzi, or Travis Scott, whatever it may be. But there's days that if I'm just cruising, I listen to Tame Impala a lot. They're one of my favorite bands.
Well,
sorry about that. They're one of my favorite bands.
But you're back. You're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. Tame Impala, one of my favorite bands, and I mean, like, every style of music. I'm not picky, and I'm open to every culture. I listen to a lot of Bad Bunny. I mean, I speak Spanish. Saludos a toda mi banda, todos mis compas, mis homies, Latinos, Latino gang. So I listen to a lot of Spanish music as well, and it just depends the mood. I would say rap music is the go-to when I ride. I think it just gets me going and hype. Big shout out to Nadi. My little brothers are big fans. Shout out to all the SA crew and everyone that's really showing me support and love. Marcus and the whole Ultimate X crew. Shout out to Kai. I mean, everyone that's really given me the experience. I think at the end of the day, the process and the adventure is, I take 2 13-hour flights to get to South Africa, and I don't even think twice about going, and it's so incredible to visit countries like the one where you're from. And I mean, I don't know, before we finish, I'd just like a big shout out to like everyone that's shown me love. Kool-Aid, and the whole skate crew down there, like boys, day one, and it's just, I think this sport's so incredible, where you create this family. I've said it multiple and many times, but I'll say it again. You don't have to speak the same language to share the same passion. You don't have to say, play the same sport, or do the same sport to share the same motivation and aspiration to be greater than what you already are. And every day is a learning curve. Whether you win or lose, you're still learning. And I think in life you must take that step, whether it's your first time in the ocean or your first time on a BMX or a skateboard. I think you must try. You must get it going. If you don't try, then you never know if you can. So yeah, man, it's crazy. Stay happy, stay motivated. What else can we say?
Well, I think that's a pretty good way to end the podcast. I mean, that was a good positive message. Is there any last little thing you'd like to maybe just give as advice to everyone out there in lockdown right now?
We're in this together. I think, obviously, a lot of people are losing their jobs, and a lot of people aren't working, and a lot of people aren't seeing their family. Call your family members. Make up with the people you haven't made up with, as far as like, your friendships and people that you've had problems with. I think in life, to stay happy, you must get rid of all this negativity. Stay away from, toxic people and negative things in life, and obviously distractions. There's so many distractions now for the youth. drugs, alcohol, money, the easy life. It's get away from that and do things that really make you happy. Don't let anyone judge you. I think in life, a lot of people are so worried about people's opinions, and there's only one of you, and one of me, and I think every single one of us are on this planet to make a difference, whether it's to clean up the earth or to throw a positive message or to make someone smile a day. You see someone having a bad day, say hello, push them through this. Everyone's going through something. Everyone is, despite how happy they look, despite how well they're living and how much money they're making. That has nothing to do, we're all on the same level. We're all human. We're all one race, and despite what race you are, it doesn't matter, and I think sharing positivity, sharing love, we're all here to support each other through the thick and thin. I think in life, you must support each other to get through this. You can't do this by yourself. I didn't get to where I'm at by myself. My family's support and love and motivation, and I didn't grow up with the financial support. We had to grind, and I'm still grinding to this day. I'm not gonna stop, and I'm gonna keep going, and I was looking up to someone, and still am, and I was a kid at one point, so and I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I still look up to all these athletes that I dreamt about hanging out with and meeting, and I get to be one of those athletes to inspire, do stuff that inspires people, motivate people, and live a real life, and yeah, I don't know, stay sane, read a book, stretch, eat healthy, take care of your body. Your body's your temple. So, what else?
I think we
to
covered it all. I think we covered it all.
Yeah.
And the KP way, remember to have a big smile while you're doing all
Remember to smile, and I think big love, big thanks to you and to everyone that watched this long podcast and my long talks that I can't stop talking. It's one of those things that gets me going. I'm good at speaking with people, but thanks to all my sponsors and everyone that supports me and shows me love and really, really guides me, and obviously, God first, and everyone that's watching us from above that isn't here anymore, and really, just grind, keep going. This, like I said, if you're going through hell, don't stop there, keep going, and bring everyone money. Money's the last thing on the planet you should be worried about. Bring everyone above with you. Your whole team's got to win as well. Yeah, man. Thank you again, Kai. Really appreciate your time. Appreciate all the questions.
Thank you, Kevin, for coming on the show. It's been awesome having you. First
anytime.
On the new podcast. And we'll be launching this one a little later in the week, and we'll send you the links. And just again, thanks so much for being on the show. And we can't wait to have you back in South Africa, my man. We really can't wait.
I can't wait. And I know Marcus and everyone worked so hard to have the event going. Keep getting it, Marcus. Keep going. Much love, and thank you for all the times you've shown me and every athlete that's made their way down there. I'll go to South Africa and to your event whenever, brother. You have a good one, and Ty, again, thank you.
Awesome, my man. Thanks so much. It's been great having you on the show.